Hi everyone. When I was thinking of a topic for this session, I thought that it might be interesting to talk to you about how you can set yourself up for success. I think success is something which everybody wants, and many people feel that success is always eluding them. They are doing everything right, or they think they are doing everything right, and still they're not getting the results that they want. So I have a picture up on the slide, and I want you to keep it in mind and think about what it means to you. From where I can see it, it's a tree standing in a desert, right? And it is linked with our talk, so I'd like you to just keep it at the back of your mind, and I will mention it as I go along. So this is Dr. Mariam Narona today, talking to you about how you can set yourself up for success. I'd like to begin the session with the Serenity Prayer. It is a very beautiful prayer, and it has really got nothing to do with any religion per se. Now, it goes like this. I'm sure you can see it, but because it is so beautiful, I will say it aloud. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I think most of us, if we realize the facts which are stated in this prayer, that there are things which we cannot change, and therefore instead of resisting them we must accept them. Instead of beating ourselves up over what we cannot change, we should accept it. We should have the courage to change the things we can, and we should have the wisdom to know the difference between what we can change and what we cannot change. I think if we realize this simple truth, we keep this prayer at the back of our mind, we will always be successful in life. So, before we begin talking about how you can get on the road to success, I think let's talk a little bit about that image I showed you on the first slide. I'm sure you can visualize it in your head. There was a tree, it was verdant green, and it was standing in a desert all by itself, right? Now, if you think carefully, that is success. That is nature showing us what is success. And I'll tell you why. Because our ideas about success, all of us, we are conditioned and we are programmed to see success as something external to us. That is, only if we have something, if we have a certain job, if we have a certain position, if we have a certain salary, a certain bank account, we drive a particular car, then we are successful. Or you get certain marks, you perform in a certain way, you top the class, then you are successful, and all of this is external. So, this is where I think we need to make a little bit of a correction. That is, if we look at nature and we look at that tree which is thriving in the desert, we will be able to understand that that tree does not depend on anyone but itself, and it is successful. It is standing tall in a desert. Why is it standing tall? Because it is inner directed, its roots are deep into the ground, it is able to nourish itself, and it does not really depend on anyone. In a desert, like the conditions are very harsh, even rainfall is scarce. So that is nature telling us what is success. Success is depending on yourself. Self reliance is success. Now, how do you get on the road to success? You have your own definition of success. This is what I will tell everybody. Do not look at what society considers as successful. You should have your own definition of success. Don't be trapped by whatever framework society or your family or your spouse, your friends, your children have about success. You redefine success for yourself. I would say if you are a better individual today than you were 1 year ago or 1 month ago, also you are definitely on the road to success. So please redefine success. Then, a common understanding, lots of people say this: time is money, time is money, time is money. I would say no, time is not money, time is life, because from the moment we are born till the moment we die, that gap that gap is life. And what is life after all? It is days, it is hours, it is minutes, it is seconds, it is nanoseconds. So time is not money, time is life. Once you realize this, you will not waste even a moment. That means even before you decide to binge watch Netflix, you might think, or if you decide to watch a movie, you'll go check out reviews first, and then probably check out a trailer, and then only if you find it interesting, you will commit that 1.5, 2 hours, 3 hours to watching a movie. When you realize that time is life, that will get you on the road to success. You'll use your time better. Then, I think a lot of people are not successful because they don't have an attitude of ownership. They don't own everything that they do. So they don't realize that, that assignment which they have to give, or that job which their boss asks them to complete, that they should own that. Or every interaction that you have, right from, say, if you're a student and you're going to college, so right from the watchman and the peon till the principal, whatever interaction you have, please do not accord respect to people only based on their position in the hierarchy of an organization. You accord respect to every other person as another human being and bring value to that interaction that you are having with them. So please own everything that you do. If somebody greets you, greet them back. Don't think that, oh, I'm so great, I can ignore this person. Have ownership of whatever you do. When I say ownership, it's also taking responsibility for yourself. That is, I find this with students. If they pass, अच्छा मैं pass हो गया, or I passed. But if they fail, teacher ने fail कर दिया. This is wrong. That means you are ready to take credit for success, but you are equally ready and very quick to pass on the buck for your poor performance onto someone else. So have ownership. Then realize that locus of control, that is your power center, is within. It is not outside you. So it is not that I read this very interesting thing which somebody had written. She had lost her job, and she had been working at a very high position in a company, and she lost her job, and she said, I was down for 2-3 days, and after that I realized one thing, that my employer could take away my paycheck, but he could not take away my skills, my abilities, everything that is mine. He could not take away except for that external thing, that paycheck. So you should realize that the locus of control is always within you. Now, be a student for life, I would say. Your student life does not end in school, it does not end in college, it does not end at MBA, it does not end at post graduation. Everyone who is successful is a student for life and of life. Now, of life means what? Life is always giving you experiences, and those experiences are lessons which come in front of you so that you learn them. And sometimes you find that that same experience keeps repeating with you, and you keep wondering, okay, why is this happening with you? But nothing ever goes away till it teaches us what we need to know or need to learn. That is a famous quote by one author, Pema Chodron. And I think if you're a student for life, you are successful. You never lose that sense of wonder. You look at everything, whether it is a bird, whether it is a flower, whatever, it's a tree, you look at it in wonder, and learn from it. Then I think people keep telling us, you need to think out of the box, you need to think out of the box, but I think you need to get out of the box. Now, what is the box? The box is all that framework with which you come in. So, that is your heredity, your race, your religion. All these things are a box in which you have fit yourself. And that prevents you from, trying new things. Or when I say new things, I mean good things, not addictions or things like that. So, you need to get out of that framework and know. Of course you need to know what makes you tick, but you need to start leaving all those things aside, like Arthur Ashe. He was the first and probably only black person to win the Wimbledon's title. And he never thought that I am a man of color and I cannot do it. So get out of the box. Another thing I'd like to mention is, turning points. Now, any journey, it has certain milestones, it has certain turning points. Now, those turning points may take you closer to your destination. Sometimes they throw you back far away from your destination and you have to start again. So, turning points in life can come at any time. So when you are younger, that time you may have a turning point in your life. Sometimes the turning points come very late in life, and it could be a not so good turning point, and you should be able to accept it as it comes and learn from it. Step a little away from it. Sometimes when those bad experiences happen with us, we wonder, we just sit down there and we are wondering why it is happening and why it has happened with us, and instead of learning from it and saying, okay, tomorrow is another day. And because after every night, day comes, daybreak is there, and you will see birds are singing in the dark. So you need to realize that if a turning point is taking you higher on the ladder of self-development or what you have defined for yourself as success, then that is good. If it is bringing you down some notches, then please do not regard it as defeat or failure, because nobody became successful without encountering failure. Even geniuses like Einstein, if you see Van Gogh, his paintings are so famous, but when he was alive, he managed to sell only one painting. So you will have turning points in your life, and please take courage at that point of time. Remember the serenity prayer we started off with. Then you need to look at, what is left with you. Many times in life, what happens when some tragedy strikes, we tend to look at what we lost. That is, oh, I've lost this, I've lost that. And there was this Hungarian pistol shooter Karoli, who had lost his arm in an accident, and he went on to win medals at the Olympics even after a long wait. And when people asked him, when he went to compete at the, join his friends to compete, that time they asked him, oh, have you come to watch us and cheer us on? So he said, no, I've come to compete. And they were like, how will you compete? So he never thought, I've lost my hand and how will I compete? So he trained his mind to use the hand which was left to compete. So in life, You need to look at what is left with you instead of focusing on what is lost, because if you focus on that, you cannot move ahead. Your attitude, then whoever has said that, your attitude determines your altitude, your attitude determines your direction in life, and that is very true. You will find that people who have, I wouldn't just say a positive attitude, they have a good attitude and an approach. Just being positive, nobody is positive all the time, please. Even the most positive people who you see externally, they go through their moments of lows, and you need to have the right attitude. This is what I said. So if you fail in an exam, decide that, okay, I failed this time, but I will improve my performance, I will study, learn to take responsibility instead of blaming others. That is also a part of attitude, and it is really, attitude is everything. If you get a chance to read that book by Jeff Keller, please do read it. It's a wonderful book. I've put up some pictures for you on the screen. All these people have been successful. All of them. Some of them are no more. Three of them are no more. Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi, Steve Jobs, Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey. All these people have been massive successes in their lives. I mean, did Mother Teresa have a lot of money? Did she live in a palace? Did Gandhi do the same? No. But they were successful. Mahatma Gandhi led a movement, and we were able to have an independent India because of his efforts. Had he sat down and never got up in life after being thrown off that train and thrown out of that train in South Africa, we would have not seen independence in India probably. Mother Teresa, a lady who served people who were left on the streets, and she was happy and fulfilled and content. She always said that she saw Christ in those people. So that is also a way of being successful. Your life, this is what I'm saying, you should have your own definition of success. Steve Jobs, if you have ever heard, and you should, if you have not, please go Google it on YouTube. You will have videos of Steve Jobs launching the iPad, launching the iPhone, launching the iPod, and you will see that this man was somebody who had this absolute unquenchable quest for perfection. He wanted to make a product better, and many years ahead of his competitors. Alright, so his success is not only in the money which Apple made, but in the kind of revolution that Apple brought in the world of technology. Barack Obama, somebody who became the president of the United States of America, not by saying, oh look here, I'm different, but no, he came to that level and said, to connect with audiences, he showed how he is one of the people who he was asking to vote for him. Then Oprah Winfrey. Who doesn't know Oprah Winfrey? A very celebrated talk show host. She has her own network, the Oprah Winfrey Network, and she's done a lot of good work over many years. And she came from a very humble background, and still she made it really big in life. And I think her success comes from the fact that she truly listens to people and she connects with them. She wants to understand them. She doesn't judge them. So that is the key to her success. In order to become successful, you need to work on certain things. You need to be a good communicator. Communication is an underrated skill. Every successful person is a good communicator, and in order to be a good communicator, You don't have to be a good speaker, you have to be a good listener. You have to listen to people, and only then you will be able to respond to them. And when you communicate with people, try to respond, don't react. Always take into consideration who you are communicating with, who's your target audience, and communicate accordingly. Your communication, that is both written and spoken, has to be good, really good, in order to succeed and stand out. Then storytelling. Now you'll say, "Arey, what is this? Why do we have to tell stories and I'm a hopeless narrator?" But I'm not talking about narrating stories from Aesop's fables or the Arabian Nights or something like that. But you'll find that anything that is successful, like even commercially, you will see that the brands which are most successful, they tell a story. They tell you some story or the other. So if you see Amul is really successful, and it is you think of butter and it is synonymous, Amul is synonymous with it. Why is it so? Because it tells you stories. It tells you about, it has its finger on the pulse of India. So storytelling is important for anyone who wants to be successful, and I would say please try and learn how to tell stories. What is the story you tell yourself? Like Karoli, he did not tell himself the sad story about losing one hand. He told himself that I have one hand I have lost, but I still have one hand and I will do it. So what is the story you tell yourself? That is the most important story in the whole world, the one which you are telling yourself. And you actually talk to yourself the most, more than you talk to anyone else in life. Then you need to build a personal brand, and by a personal brand I mean that the way you do your work, any work, whether it is cooking food, whether it is cleaning the house, whether it is writing an assignment, whether it is working in the office, you should have a personal brand. You should have your own way of doing it, so that when people see your work or they taste the food that you have cooked, that they know that you have made it. That is your personal brand. What is that part of you which you bring to whatever you do? So please ensure that you build a personal brand. Finding your own voice. Now many a time, people think that in order to have good relationships, you need to agree with others. And in agreeing with others, our own voices, it never, we are unable to vocalize our thoughts. But I think daring to disagree, finding your own voice is very important in all relationships, whether they are personal or they are professional. You need to find your own unique voice. And I think it just takes a little bit of courage. First time it might be difficult, but once you find the courage, it will be easy for you. Dealing with people. Now, no one can escape this. Please remember this, that no one can escape dealing with people, no matter what job you do. Unless you are living on an island, you will have to deal with people. Or unless you go to Mars right now, because nobody has landed on Mars to inhabit it. But you need to always be able to deal with people. And when I say deal, it is an art. There is an art to dealing with people. So everybody wants to be heard, they want to be seen, and they want to be understood. No matter, even the worst person who like in terms of temperament and negativity and all those people want to be seen, heard, and understood. Or they want people to listen to them, and that doesn't cost you money. So learn to deal with people. Decision making. Now this is a skill. It's really a very important skill, and I would say you will get very good at making decisions for yourself if you regard every decision in terms of the amount of time that it is going to save you or it is going to cost you. Look at it like that. So if I'm going to give 1 hour to watching a television series, then what am I getting out of it? If I get some relaxation, yes, fine. If I get some knowledge, even better, right? But if I could use that 1 hour to even just sit and listen to my parents perhaps and have a meaningful conversation with them, or spend some time with my pet, then what is going to make a bigger difference to my quality of life? Regard your decisions that way. Always look at the time factor. Managing your time is also very important. A lot of people keep thinking that busy is a very nice label. I'm busy, and I don't have time for this. But frankly, everyone has 24 hours in a day, and there are people who are masters at managing time, and they achieve much more just because they manage their time well. So they plan it. So I would say you can manage your time well if you work with lists. Have a list of tasks that you want to do. Think carefully about how much time you need to assign to that. And if you read some good books on these things like Atomic Habits, you read the Productivity Project, you will understand time management very well. You waste a lot of time on phone and social media and all these things, and you're actually, when you even your phone buzzes or beeps, you want to pick it up and you want to leave whatever you're doing and you want to pick it up and look and reply, and then it takes you a lot of time to come back to what you were doing, for your brain to focus again. So time management is very important. Networking, connecting with the right people. Your circle of influence is your friends. So that's why they say now, birds of a feather flock together. So you need to have the right circle of friends or your right contacts and connections. Make connections, I think, with people who are where you want to be in life, right? Try to connect with them. And today, because of social media and professional networks like LinkedIn, that is possible. So please network with others, and when you network, try to see how much you can give others instead of trying to see how much you can get out of them. In every relationship, stop looking at it as a deal. Even if you are the giver, many times we feel that I'm giving and I'm not getting in return. But please don't have it any other way. It's better to be a giver than somebody who takes endlessly, right? And be glad that God has given you that ability, that you are able to give others. Then observation. I think you learn a lot in life by just observing. You don't need to do anything. You don't even need to talk much. You can listen and you can observe and you can learn a lot. Many successful businesses have come out of this, are the product of observation. People have observed that this particular problem is there and how can I solve it. So whether it is, say, an Airbnb, or it is an Uber, or it is an Amazon, or it is a Flipkart, or it is any major company or any successful brand, it is born out of observation. All inventions, you've learned about the industrial revolution, and also how do those people come out with those products or those inventions, because they have observed. Self-reliance, this is what I started off with, and I'm saying it again. Please learn to rely on yourself. That means what? That means, yes, your parents are there, your siblings are there, you may have friends, you may have relationships, you may have partner, you may have spouse, you may have children, but your locus of control is within. So even if nobody supports you, you should be able to stand. Don't be broken down when there's nobody to support you. Hopefulness. Always have hope for yourself. People think that, oh, why do we need to have hopes? My hopes are always dashed. But if you look at even that tiny little bird, who sings in the dark, when the dawn has not yet broken, that bird has hope. And it's like, unlike you, The bird is not living in a house with nice four walls and a roof, and somebody is there to cook food and give you, or you can Swiggy something. That little bird has to go and hunt for its food, search for its food every day, and it has to even bring one twig and make a nest and protect its young ones from the rain, the sun, all these things. So never lose hope. Focus. Now, focus is very important. You need to do. I've read this from Sandeep Kochar. He is a life coach and he's very good. He's an influencer on LinkedIn, and he says he's come up with this acronym DOTS. Do one thing surely. So this is what I said, it's focus. So if you want to do something, whether it is, you may exercise and listen to music or to a podcast or something like that. You may start the washing machine and cook food at the same time, but you cannot study and talk to a friend at the same time. Then that is not going to give you the results which you require. So always have focus. Focus on little things. Break it down into parts, manageable parts. Even when you're studying and things like that, it will help you a great deal. So I hope these tips help you as far as the areas you need to work on go. There's one misnomer about success, that we think that failure and success are opposite, but failure is a part of success. In fact, if you don't fail, you cannot be successful. And I would say, as what is said in this quote, failure is success if we learn from it. That means if you are ready to learn from whatever failure you have experienced. This quote is by Malcolm Forbes, and it makes so much sense that failure is success if you learn from it. If it is your teacher, you will look at it as success. So you need to redefine failure also, not just redefine success, which I mentioned earlier. I'd like to end my talk with the other serenity prayer. I began with the serenity prayer, which I hope all of you, I'm requesting you again, please write it down, read it, refer to it, and focus on it. Try to keep it at the back of your mind always. Now, I'd like to end with the other serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to stop beating myself up for not doing things perfectly. The courage to forgive myself because I'm working on doing better. And the wisdom to know that you already love me just the way I am. Thank you. I hope you found this session useful, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. So please don't hesitate to come up with those questions and do write to me. Thank you.